Does being a Morgan Wallen fan make you MAGA? Why the country bad boys music is so Trump coded? Yes, this is a real article by Variety, came out about 5 days ago. It says right here, can we enjoy the Tennessee superstars music without seeing red hats? As 80 years of popular music show, it can be difficult to separate the art from the artist. So I just want to start off by saying Morgan has never said anything political. He's a country music star. He loves God, so people like to assume he's just automatically a Trump supporter. He could, and there are conservatives that aren't Trump supporters. And in reality, my view when it comes to celebrities and music artists is I assume most of them are liberal anyway. I just don't want them up there preaching it to me. I don't want those artists up there being like, oh, you need to vote this way because it's better for the country. Like, you guys are millionaires. You're in your own planet. You don't know what's best for anyone. That goes for also people on the right, like Kid Rock. I don't care what Kid Rock's political views are. I don't care what Billie Eilish's political views are, Taylor Swift's, Beyonce's, any artist. So, and I think the whole thing is just really stupid. Like we all know there's artists that are outspoken, but then to do make an article like this connecting an artist to a guy that this author clearly doesn't like just to, I guess, get clicks. I don't know. So this is written by Jem Aswad, and if you go to his Twitter page, the background says men shouldn't be making laws about women's bodies, and then you can see he clearly is not a Trump fan by his post. So you can already tell where this article is kind of heading. But let's just, for fun, let's dive into this because the fact that this is real is blowing my mind. Let's see. Blah, blah. So it says right here. So if owning a Tesla truck has become the equivalent of a red MAGA hat, does listening to Morgan Wallen's new album, I'm the Problem, have the same effect? And is enjoying and financially supporting a person's creative work the same as endorsing or overlooking their stated beliefs or opinions, even if there's no overt reflection of those views in their work? Um, One, I don't think Tesla truck connects you to a red MAGA hat. That's something the far left has just connected just to connect. Honestly, more liberals probably own Teslas than conservatives do. So that's just a stupid comparison. Um, and there is this thing where this is where it comes into play. No one knows what Morgan's political views are. So you can disconnect it because you don't even know what you're connecting it to. Now, if you want to argue, oh my God, Taylor Swift is super liberal because she's donating money to Biden and Kamala and she's outright spoken, it's going to be harder because she's right in your face with it. She was more like that with Biden than Kamala. But my point is, they're right in your face with it. They're openly pushing themselves there saying, I'm with this candidate. That's what makes it hard. Even if you're an artist and you just say things once in a while, nobody really holds that against you long term. You know, like Eminem is still one of the biggest rappers. He's said things about Trump, but like, nobody holds it against him. Nobody like is screaming at him. Nobody's like, being like, oh, Eminem. Like, I think it just depends on how you involve yourself. So they said the answer to that last question, of course, is yes and no. To be clear, we're not talking about an artist like Kanye West, whose once clever lyrics have metastasized into unapologetic hate speech. Political rabble rousers from Kid Rock to Jason Aldean to MIA, or even some of Woody Allen's films. So now they're getting like movies and stuff like that. It says right here, intentionally or not, those people place certain messages into or in front of their art. It's virtually impossible to hear even a completely non-political song like Kid Rock's all summer long and see past his red hat and some of the idiotic things he said. So I personally don't think that. I don't know if it's because I'm not crazy like some of these people, but like if I hear a Kid Rock song come on, if I hear Taylor Swift on the radio, if I hear a Kanye West song on, I don't automatically think to every political thing they've ever said. I'm just kind of zoning out into the music, you know. I maybe that's just me. I don't dig that much into it for the most part. Let's see. So this just talks about all the offensive stuff Morgan Wallen has done. So charged with public intoxication, being kicked out of Kid Rock's bar. This is a scary one right here. That same year, he broke COVID protocols just days before he was scheduled to appear on SNL, clearly running the risk of infecting the entire show's cast. Oh my. Wouldn't want that. Just a few months later, after an apparently inebriated night out, he called one of his white friends the N-word. Unaware that a neighbor was recording him. It's funny there's more outrage about that than the fact that he was on his own property and his neighbor was just recording him on his own property. Is that even legal? Like, I feel like that's got to be illegal in some states. And that's just so intrusive. No one talks about that, though. This, you want to talk about, definitely could have ruined his whole life, and he definitely could have hurt someone when he threw the chair off the 6-story Nashville building. That was stupid. Not defending that. Let's see. This is where it gets good. It's all reprehensible behavior, to be sure, even if some of those incidents sound like the kind of stupid shit your dumbass uncle, cousin, or nephew might do. I didn't expect so much cussing in that article. But at a time when an unapologetically sexist and arguably racist convicted felon won the presidency, yeah, you're not biased at all, after running on a platform based on hatred, threats, intolerance, and retribution. This article isn't even about Morgan Wallen anymore. Oh my God. It also captures a spirit of this era and is even arguably a MAGA flavored brand of punk rock. What? Okay, here it is. Wallen has never publicly endorsed Trump, like I said, but look at this next part. But he doesn't need to. His behavior and image are indisputably MAGA coded. So this is the world we're in now. You see a music artist, they've never said anything political, and now you can automatically just put a title on them. If you, I guess, don't like their music or you don't like them as a person, you can just put this title on them to try to, I guess, make them look bad, or I don't even know what the purpose of this is, to try and make them look like a bad person. Yeah, so it's crazy. His songs might be about drinking and bad decisions and being a badass, and defiance about the results of that drinking and those bad decisions and that badassery, but it's hard to separate them from the very Trumpy middle finger to the world spirit that his non-musical actions seem to reflect. Yeah, so I don't think that connects Trump to it. I think you're trying really hard to make this connection here because Morgan obviously has an issue with drinking. I'm a huge Morgan Wallen fan. He's got an issue with drinking. He can't control himself sometimes. But to sit there and connect that to a Trump mentality, that is a huge stretch. And you're just doing this because you're clearly not fans of either of them. Even the video for I Had Some Help, his airwaves dominating song with Post Malone, is filled with comical bad behavior, drinking, pickup trucks, American flags, and the song itself is about deflecting responsibility for bad behavior. So I'm guessing this is what's connecting him to Trump. One of the examples they used was American flags. So now, if you're a music artist and you have an American flag in your music video, you're MAGA. Did you guys know that? Isn't it funny how people on the left connect people on the right to the American flag and they try to say they love their country? So strange. So he says, deflecting responsibility for bad behavior. In italics right here, someone else is to blame for my current unsatisfactory circumstances. That's not really what the song's about. So basically what he's saying in the song is like, clearly this woman that he's with says he has a drinking problem. And he's like trying to quit drinking, blah, blah, blah. But there's always alcohol in the house. And she kind of encourages it too, or doesn't. Like personally, if my fiance had a drinking problem, she's like, I'm serious about quitting drinking. I'm not drinking anymore, blah, blah. There would not be a drop of alcohol in this house. I would never drink in front of her because that would lead to temptation for her. And I got that vibe more from this. Like, you want me to quit this, but you're not helping me actually quit it. You're helping me get influence to it more. It's not to completely deflecting the blame. He's still accepting blame for it, but there's like environmental purposes that aren't helping. You know, that's what he's saying in the video. Uh, Whether or not that's who Wallen actually is in real life, or whether a superstar's real self as opposed to their public selves is even relevant, it still raises question. Is playing and enjoying his music contributing approximately 0.003 cents per stream to him and his musical collaborators and business associates, an endorsement of all above? Before saying yes, we might consider the... So they made this whole article, and at the end here, they're saying, is listening to it really worth giving him and his record label and his agent and all of them? They're all splitting 0.003 cents together. Is it worth that? That's so stupid. Oh my God. So these next few paragraphs, they basically just list examples of music artists who have had controversies. And if you still listen to his music, so it's like Chris Brown, Led Zeppelin, Diddy, because Diddy owns Biggie Smalls music, R. Kelly, basically just trying to say, are all these matter? And then they get in some Trump ones here. Politically speaking, Lil Wayne and Kodak Black received Trump pardons and have made the mandatory transactional public statements support. The mandatory transactional public statements. Like they had a gun to their head. Like Lil Wayne met up with Trump before he even got arrested. People thought it was weird that he got arrested right after meeting up with Trump. So yeah, so that has nothing to do with anything. Snoop Dogg, Carrie Underwood, Soulja Boy, and Rick Ross performed at Trump's inauguration events earlier this year. Yes, they did. And Snoop Dogg's a perfect example of someone who used to not like Trump, and then he realized it was stupid. Let's see. So then I get a little more about Kanye, all these other artists I don't know. We live in an era where it feels like we should do a background check before expressing enthusiasm or positivity about virtually anyone or anything. Did that talented and or seemingly virtuous person tweet something problematic in 2012? And by liking their song, am I, by extension, endorsing or forgiving the perspective that is seemingly voiced in that tweet? Yeah, I don't think this is that deep for most people. Like, and people will still listen to music artists. Like I said, Eminem has said some things. I still listen to Eminem in the car because he's got good music. There's some people, like I said, you can separate the views from the art. I think it depends on how involved the artist is. Like I said, Morgan Wallen has never said anything political. He's country music, loves God, which they didn't mention once in this article about how much he loves God. Funny how that is. Why doesn't the left want to talk about God or religion? So he doesn't say anything political, and they're trying to connect him to it. Like, that makes no sense. They're trying to act like he's like Kid Rock level. Kid Rock is like best friends with Trump. He's another one. If you're trying to listen to Kid Rock, he's openly right there. That's going to be a lot harder than someone who's never expressed political views. Now, to go back to the headline, it says, does being a Morgan Wallen fan make you MAGA? Let's look at that. So let's just look at some of the records he has broken thanks to our buddy ChatGPT here. So he has the record for most weeks at #1 on Billboard 200 for a country album. His 2023 album, One Thing at a Time, spent 19 consecutive weeks at #1, breaking Garth Brooks' record. He's not going to break that if only MAGA listens to him. Most weeks at #1, top country albums chart. Wallen has accumulated 176 weeks at top of Billboard's top country albums, breaking Garth Brooks' record again. Only artist with 2 albums spending over 100 weeks on Billboard Top 200 Top 10. Both Dangerous, the double album, and One Thing at a Time have each spent over 100 weeks there. A feat unmatched by any other artist. No other artist. And you're telling me only MAGA listens to him? His song Last Night spent 16 non-consecutive weeks at #1 at the Billboard Top 100, the longest for a solo artist without featured acts. First song to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 across 6 consecutive months. First song to garner 1 billion on-demand streams in the U.S. within a single year. And then he's also had a bunch of awards. He should have, honestly, more awards. His controversies, I think, prevent him from winning awards, his controversies. But he should definitely have more. So, yeah, there's no way only MAGA is listening to him. So this whole thing by Jim Oswald might be the dumbest article I've ever seen in my life. You're literally trying to create something that's not there. Like, people go to Morgan Wallen concerts because they like Morgan Wallen. It's not a MAGA rally. They're not expecting to see Trump there. Like, this is insane. Yeah, and clearly this dude doesn't listen to a lot of Morgan Wallen music. I think he just doesn't like country music. I think he's just assuming Morgan Wallen's a bad person. And I think he just took time out of his day to write whatever this was. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, what you think about this whole article, and tell me what you think about Morgan Wallen's new album. I think it's pretty good so far. And do you guys really think Morgan Wallen makes you MAGA? All right. Catch you next time. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below.